Well, hey there. Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both, sometimes watching a specific film. So, this specific film I'm reviewing today is called Ehrengard. The Art of Seduction. It's rated PG-13, is an hour and 34 minutes. And my movie review mom grade for this overall, I think, is a C plus. Now, let me explain why. Keep watching. I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked as well as things I didn't like, and tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting and funny lines, if there are any that I wrote down, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also enjoy or maybe even enjoy better. All right, does that sound good? Let's get started. So, in a nutshell, the story is about a painter, and when he is asked to teach a royal prince about love and romance, the plan backfires, leading to a potential scandal which could threaten the line of succession. The film is an adaptation of a famous novel in Denmark by Karen Blixen. You might recognize her name from another famous book she wrote called Out of Africa, which was also turned into an award-winning film way back in 1985. But that's not all. Her book, Babette's Feast, was also turned into a popular film in 1997. So we'll see if this film gets equal awards. I don't think so, but probably for a few things. And let me tell you about those here in just a second. But first, let me give you some tips for parents. I think kids are going to be bored mostly. We see pencil sketches of nude women. We see a painting of a naked woman from the rear standing in a lake. An older married woman talks about sleeping with a younger single man. We also see a single man and a married woman tumbling around in bed, but skin is covered and we don't really see anything. We just know what's happening. And then there is talk of premarital relations that result in a baby. So you can see there's some potential for some royal scandals right there. Some of the themes are romance, infidelity, truth and deception, premarital relations, nature's beauty, and reputation. All right, so here's the list of things that I really liked about the movie. First of all, I had never seen any of these actors in anything before, and I really liked all of them. The talented cast includes Alice Bierzanden, Emil Ehrendorf, Mikkel Bo Folsgaard, Sidse Babbitt Knudsen, Emily Kroyer-Koppel, Jacob Lohman, Sarah Marie Malta, and more. Now, I don't know if they're all Danish, but the movie was filmed in Europe, and I think it was in Denmark. I'll tell you a little bit more about the Queen of Denmark and her role in this movie. First of all, this European setting is so extremely charming. I love Europe. I love traveling to beautiful places in movies too. And of course, the kingdom represented in this story is fictional. We see beautiful gardens, landscapes, and interiors. The cinematographer, Jan Pallesen, just does a great job. It's hard to take a bad picture in such gorgeous atmosphere. Now, if you really love this movie, I think you're going to be happy to know that Netflix has created a documentary about this movie called Lifting the Veil: Behind the Scenes of Ehrengard. And I don't think I mentioned this movie is also available on Netflix. Both of these movies are. So this documentary features Queen Margaret II of Denmark and director Billy August as they talk about their meticulous attention to the sets and costumes of the movie. And so I think if this movie wins any awards or is nominated, it would be for costume design and maybe set design. One thing the documentary doesn't quite explain is how and why the current Queen of Denmark got involved with this film. In the documentary, she appeared to really love working on this project. I mean, who wouldn't? At the end of the feature film, we see several decoupage designs for the landscapes and room interiors that inspired the movie's locations. And those were all personally created by the Queen of Denmark. She was involved in designing the costumes too, years before the movie actually began filming. And I thought they were beautiful and terrific. So how fun for the Queen to have a creative outlet in this project. But I wonder if the Danish citizens were annoyed that she was spending so much time on this movie away from her important royal work. Now, I don't know exactly what her royal work is, or if she's just a figurehead. I need to find that out. But anyway, I just thought that that was interesting. Everything about the movie is very fairy tale like, and you definitely feel that. The musical theme is lovely, that follows throughout the course of the film. And the leading attempts to connect this story with another famous story, kind of as an origin story. It's done so quickly, I was like, wait, what? And so I don't know. Let me know. Comment down below if you watched this movie and what you thought of that ending. At first, I was like, oh, that's clever. And then I was like, no, that's actually kind of hokey. And then I kind of went back and forth and couldn't decide. So you let me know what you think. Now, on a personal note, one of my sons is actually dating a girl from Denmark. We have had dinner with her and her family many, many times and absolutely adore all of them. We even celebrated Christmas with them last year and got to join in on the fun Danish tradition of holding hands and singing and dancing around the Christmas tree. She had told us that that's what they do. And I just laughed and I was like, I got to do that. And so it was really cute and really fun. They speak Danish at home all of the time. And so it was really fun to watch the documentary in Danish with English subtitles. Now, the film itself is originally in Danish, but it's dubbed in English. So if you can get past the lips not matching the words, as a foreign film, I think that you might get a kick out of it. I also learned some cognates for words that both of our languages have in common. The cognate is a word that sounds the same. For example, in English and in Danish, the words are the same for day, interior, exterior, masculine, special, and renaissance. Now they say it with a little bit of an accent, but it's the same word. Knowing cognates makes learning another language so much easier. We have a ton of them. I speak Spanish fluently when there's a ton of them in Spanish. And I've recently been trying to learn French, and there are a surprising number of cognates in French. I was like, I had no idea that was a French word. But anyway, that's off on another tangent. All right, so with that praise, there were some things that I didn't like or thought could have been done a little differently or better. For example, probably the biggest complaint about this movie is going to come from woke viewers who probably will not like the old-fashioned traditions of gender roles and romance, claiming that the film condones toxic masculinity. And it does. It's, representing a time back in the 1800s. And that was it was the culture of the day. And so you can't be super critical if you're doing a period piece from a time, over a century ago. Anyway, I'm just saying, heads up on the content, that if that kind of stuff bothers you, you're not going to enjoy this film. The studio's movie description makes you think that the bulk of the movie is about how this painter teaches the young prince how to seduce women, but that's really not the case at all. I mean, that happens, but the bulk of the movie is what happens after the prince falls in love quite innocently with a young woman. They get married, and then all the chaos ensues. There is a serious plot hole at the end of the movie involving what would have been the natural aftermath of certain events and certain characters. And that line is just that plot line, it's sort of dropped, like as if there were no consequences. And I don't want to give you any spoilers. I'm just saying there would have been consequences. Anyway, in the very beginning of the movie, the viewer assumes that the protagonist is a certain someone. However, in the end, the reveal of the true hero might surprise you. And again, I don't want to give you any spoilers, but after you watch the movie, ask yourself, who really was the hero of that film? Maybe it won't be that obvious to you. Now, it's supposed to be so funny that so much deception is involved in the story. And in that regard, I felt like the story was very juvenile and shallow, with such gorgeous set designs, costumes, and locations. I had hoped for something a little bit more sophisticated. And I guess I'm a prude, but I don't think lying and cheating and that kind of stuff is funny. Um, I know it's supposed to be funny, but so I didn't really enjoy that element. I understood that's, was the farce. And some people have even said this is a parody of those types of old-fashioned movies. So again, let me know what you think. So let me give you a recommendation for 3 films that I instantly thought of as I was watching this movie that I think you might like. The first one is called Catherine Called Birdie. Now, Birdie is a young woman, and she's got this real spunk and spark to her personality, quite the nonconformist in her medieval village. And at the beginning, I just was laughing and thinking this was a comedy, and then it takes a serious turn. And what happens is very sweet, very dramatic, but just very touching. So I recommend that one. And by the way, you can watch my video review of that film here on Movie Review Mom. Maybe I'll cue that one up to play right after this one. Another movie I thought of is called Emma. Now, that is a film that has been redone, but in this new version, I thought the costume design was impeccable and gorgeous and inspired. And I think because I was so entranced by the costume design in this film, that's what made me think of that one. But it's also, back in the 1800s and that kind of stuff in England, a Jane Austen type of story. And then the last one is called Rosalind or Rosaline, however you pronounce her name. And it's kind of a fun and interesting take on the ex-girlfriend of Romeo, as in Romeo and Juliet. So it's a comedy, a coming of age type of story, romance, some really fun period piece costumes and set designs for that one as well. All right, let me know if you watch any of those and what you think and how you might compare them to this movie. So thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I hope that my reviews help. If they do, give them a thumbs up. That helps me to grow my channel. And I will catch you in the next movie review. Bye for now.